The FPL Force Game Week 12 top transfers, guys. In this video, we're going to be going through each and every single position, naming the top 3 transfers from the FPL Force. And we are also going to touch on captaincy as to the fact that there is a bit of a differential that people are wanting to go for as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. As usual, everything that I show you in here is from the FPL Force app. So this will be launching at the end of this month. Black Friday is what I'm hoping for, and yeah, man, if you want to know, then scan the QR code below and you can get 50% off and notified when that actually launches as well, so you can be ahead of everybody. So let's get into it. Now, Game Week 12 top transfers from the FPL Force. Number 1, Mateta. Going into Game Week 12, he is playing against Wolves, but you can see there he has a great lineup of fixtures there. Playing Man United Game Week 13, at least it's at home. Game Week 14, Burnley, amazing fixture, and as well as Fulham as well in 15, which is also a good fixture. Then Man City and then Leeds. So I mean, 2 tough fixtures out of 6. I think that's really good, you know. He is one of the people spoken about in terms of captaincy differentials. So I think I would, you know, if I was going to go different, I'm not sure about it. I'm thinking about it, but we'll talk about more about it in my captaincy, in my in my team selection video. But I think he's a better option than the FPL Force's differential, which is Saka, going up against Tottenham. As much as he's at home, I think Mateta is just a no-brainer if you are looking for a striker and you don't already have him. Going into the next striker pick, whether you guys agree or not, it would be João Pedro. The man is in form, as you can see there. Got Burnley right now at this home fixture, I mean at the away fixture in this Game Week 12, but then plays Arsenal and then Leeds, and then after that he's got Bournemouth, Everton and Newcastle, where the fixtures do toughen up a bit. But he's here because he's been scoring, you know, and in a row as well. Yeah, fine, they've got Barcelona in between that Arsenal fixture and Burnley, so he's been playing in Europe as well in the Brazil squad. So in terms of traveling coming back, I don't think it will be an issue at all. So I think he's just still a good pick, in all honesty, if you want to go for a higher priced midfielder and striker. But also, I'm going to be playing like not triple captain, a free hit in Game Week 13. So he fits that plan if that's what you're going to be going for. I mean, I don't want to say it's perfect in the sense that, yes, Mateta's got better fixtures than him, but Mateta's also got a tough fixture in Game Week 13. So can't get them to all have great fixtures in a row, but nonetheless, I think his form qualifies for him to be here, and the fact that he is also playing Burnley. So yeah, at least he's also got that Arsenal game at home, so maybe he can sneak something in there with Gabriel out as well for a month to 2. Number 3, I think the obvious one is Thiago. Having had a good return in the previous game week as well, he's in flying form, and he is going to be playing Brighton away, and then Burnley, which is the real fixture. I think you're also really getting him for. He is really the third option striker, above all other options being like Danny Welbeck as well as even João Pedro. I think if you're not going to be going into having a third striker, then of course you're going down to a Krupi or a Marc Guéhi, from Chelsea there, just so that you can beef up more so in the midfield. But I think it's a good option. He's on penalties, he's in flying form, I think in the top 3 top goal scorers as well. Am I necessarily a fan of his fixtures? For me, not necessarily, but we can't deny his form and his, you know, the mere fact that he is basically that main man when it comes to scoring for Brentford as well. So I think the main fixture everybody really is looking to get him for is that Burnley one. I think if he does get anything he can from the Brighton game, even though it is away, and Brighton has gotten 2 clean sheets in the past 2 games, and so they are looking really good defensively. And this is why for me he's the number 3 pick from the FPL Force Top Strikers transfers. It's just because of this entry point. Like Mateta and João Pedro have got better entry points. Sure, his game week 13 game is better than theirs, but based also on their form as well, I just feel like he's a better third option really than the other two as well. So let us get into the midfield, but before we do that, let's hear a word from the FPL Force.
Silence as the FPL Force brings wisdom. Now, to learn the ways of the Force, unlock your true potential, and rise to fantasy football mastery, you must subscribe. So, hit the subscribe button below and begin your journey to fantasy football mastery. May the green arrows be with you.
And onto the midfield, the FPL Forces Game Week 12 Top Midfield Transfers. Number 1, of course, is Mbeumo. He is the main pick, I think, going into this game week with the highest transfers in as well. And it makes obvious sense. He is in high form as well, playing against Everton. And the fixtures do not look bad at all. Crystal Palace one is going to be a tough one away. Sesko is out for a month or so as well. So it is raising questions as to where exactly is he going to be playing. There was a bit of a test of Ahmad playing in the second 10 with Cunha playing in the 9. Maybe he could even play in the 9, but what's that going to do to his output as well? Nonetheless, he is the most threatening in terms of outfield play, and he's also on set pieces as well, so it makes absolute obvious sense as well. And there is also a query from Man United for him to actually go to AFCON game week 17. So even if you're bringing him now, you know, you could have all of these 6 fixtures, which are really great. Honestly, for me, really great up to game week 15, which is where I would be looking to offload him if I had him. Yeah, I think it's also not late if you want to get him at game week 14 as well, if Man United really do manage to keep him in till game week 17. And I think even if he still stays for that game week 16 game against Bournemouth at home, that's not necessarily a bad fixture as well, considering the high transitional play that both teams also have. This should be a high scoring game. Also, the fact that Bournemouth are not necessarily great away, so they concede really high XG, so Mbeumo should really be getting those chances as well in that game. So these fixtures really look great for him. I would definitely be going for him. Ownership is starting to grow as well. So yeah, that's the first pick from the FPL Force. The next one is a differential, and it is Sa. He has come back without a scratch, I believe, from his international break, so we don't have to worry about him. Amazing fixtures like Mateta that we've seen as well. He is a bit overperforming his goals, XG really. He's been getting the chances and not necessarily scoring, and that's been a frustrating thing for us owners, for Sa owners. But that to me shows that if his XG is higher than his actual goal ratio, then he can actually catch up to it because he's getting the chances. I think it's worrying if the player is not actually getting the chances. So playing Wolves away, I think he can definitely get it. Burnley as well away. I think we might see him also disappear. Maybe by game week 16 he won't be playing that specific match, which I think is absolutely fine to have him from now to game week 15, considering Manchester City is in game week 16. So he's not a bad pick as well as Mbeumo to bring in this game week. Yeah, I would definitely be bringing him in, and like I said, a differential as well, for those of you who want to be climbing up the ranks just like me at 13.1. I think he's definitely a no-brainer in this team if you haven't tripled up yet, of course, with the Crystal Palace picks. So let's get into the third pick, which is Starboy Bukayo Saka up against Tottenham this game week. His form is also good as well. if you went with him in captaincy game week 11, then well done for you. You got away with it with Erling Haaland as well, not scoring his penalty. But this game in game week 12, from my view, I think honestly is going to be a KG1. This isn't an Ange Postecoglou Tottenham. This is a man, I forgot his name. It's Thomas Frank Tottenham already. So I think his defense is going to be a lot more well put together. Plus, Tottenham also perform this season very well away as opposed to at home. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily a high scoring game, and that's why for me, as much as the FPL Force loves Saka as the captaincy differential, not for me. I actually lean more so to Mateta. But in the end of the day, the FPL Force guides us. We're the ones who make the decision. So see how you feel really with that one. But I think he's not a bad option to be bringing in if you are looking for a third Arsenal spot as well. Just trying to tap into the attack there. So yeah. That is the midfields. Let us get into the defense now. Into the defense, we have to start with the man himself, Virgil van Dijk. With the news of Gabriel being out for 1 to 2 months, he is looking like the top option for a lot of people going into game week 12. You can see his fixtures for Liverpool are looking amazing. And Nottingham Forest at home, West Ham in the second game coming back from international break, and then we've got Sunderland at least at home. They are not necessarily an easy fixture, and then he's got Leeds, which is, I still think, a great fixture, as you can see, green, and then a bit of a yellow one there with Brighton at home at least, and then a tricky one with Tottenham as well away. So I think honestly they haven't been performing necessarily as a defensive unit, a team, Liverpool, and you can see it there as well. The XG conceded is really high, even the XGC is really high. Clean sheets, at least they've had some a little bit as well, but yeah, as you can see, he's still good for DEFCON as well, even there. So that's why he's really becoming an appealing, and we all know his attacking threat. I think if you do want to go for a cheaper option, it's not necessarily that bad. It all depends on your team. You can go for Konate, but I think a lot of us are leaning more so towards Virgil van Dijk because we know he's definitely better for DEFCON, and he's got more of an attacking aerial threat rather more so than Konate there as well. So let's see the second option there, and it is Daniel Munoz giving you coverage into that Crystal Palace defense. Now we don't know much yet on Mark Gahey. We will have to wait to hear from Oliver Glasner in the press conferences, but I think Munoz really in these fixtures, considering that they are going to be a bit easier, like on the Wolves game and the Burnley game, we might see him get a lot more license to really just box crash attack more so than he has, and not worry too much on the defensive side. So I do expect a lot more attacking returns from him, and as well as defensive, of course, returns. I think he can definitely get a clean sheet in the Wolves, Burnley, and potentially even Fulham game, potentially. And even that Man United game, as hard as it's looking, at least he's at home, and if he doesn't get a clean sheet, then he could probably get an assist there as well. So he's really looking like a great option. It's not a bad idea to go for a Lacroix and even a Richards as well. I just feel like knowing that Munoz can get DEFCON in some busy, I say busy because sometimes it doesn't have to be a tough game, but busy games, he can get a DEFCON and he can get a clean sheet and he can get an attacking return. That's absolutely what you want. You are actually going to be paying for it at 5.8. If you want to go cheap, Richards is honestly not a bad idea, but just know you're going there for the DEFCON and clean sheets as well, hoping that you really get it as well. I don't think Lacroix is worth it. I think if we went around to the Lacroix price, I would just be going to a Gahey, in all honesty. For me, it's really like either you're going for Munoz or you're going for Richards, and if you want to sort of go for like great bonus points as well as DEFCON, and maybe some attacking threat as well, but pay cheaper, then you're looking at a Gehi, because he is somebody that they do actually look for on those long throws, which funny enough is from Richards. Sorry, spending a bit more time on this one, is from Richards. So Richards can get you an attacking threat in terms of an assist from his long throws. It really all depends on you, but I think it's a lot more exciting to watch Munoz than anything else. Now, going into the third pick, which is an Arsenal pick, and you're probably going to be saying, Cat, why is this not Timber? Now, the only reason for me why this pick is not Timber is because of safety of minutes. Now, we all know Ben White is fit and he hasn't even been on international break. Timber did have a knock, a heavy one in the actual international break, but he did get up from the first half and continued to play through to the second half. Got taken off around about the 65th to 70th minute. So I think he'll be fine to play, but we are going into a heavy fixture congested time. And so that being said, I think if you want to still keep your Arsenal cover moving from Gabriel rather than going to a Virgil van Dijk and stay into Arsenal, and you want to be safe in terms of minutes, I think Saliba is going to be the man to be going into that actual Arsenal team, because there is going to be Champions League, there is going to be some cup ties as well, and Mosquera being tied up already, being next to Saliba, I don't think Arteta's going to risk not playing Saliba as much as he can. So I expect some rotation, sadly. From Timber, I expect some rotation, maybe even with Calafiori, with Nkapia being able to play there, Lewis Kelly also being able to play there as well. But I don't expect rotation with Saliba. But if you are willing to take the risk, sure, you can go Timber. I think Timber rose in price just recently, so he might be 5.9, so I think he's 0.1 cheaper. But if you really want to have no headaches, I would just go for Saliba, and I think that's where the FPL force is coming in here. Now, sticking with defensive players, let's just touch onto the goalkeepers there. Number one goalkeeper transfer, if you haven't been covered in your triple up in Crystal Palace, then Dean Henderson is definitely the one to go for. Great, amazing fixtures there as well. I don't think there's really much to touch on with him. He does get some good high saves as well, and of course clean sheets as well. They do get a lot of XG conceded, XGC conceded, but I think that translates to the saves that he does make there as well. And you can see they are getting some potential. So I think some clean sheets. So I think he's a great pick in the sense that he can definitely get you some save points there as well. And he's going into a great fixture run, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets even a bit of bonus there as well shared along with him, as much as it's not necessarily all that high there. So that's first pick there for the goalkeepers. And then number two for me is Sanchez. Again, going into this game week, he's got a really great fixture, and if you are going to be free hitting in game week 13, which is what I'm going to be doing, and I think a lot of other people are going to be doing as well, because if your team looks good in game week 12, it actually also looks good in game week 14, and that's really where I'm going here, along with Sanchez. But I think long term as well, he's not a bad pick if Chelsea can manage to stay with 11 players on the pitch. They've shown to be a lot more solid when they have 11 players, of course, playing throughout the game. And I think the games where they did concede it really was in those game weeks where they started to get a lot of those red cards. So Sanchez could also get you some save points. Looking at the XGC, that can translate into actual saves for you as well. So I'm definitely happy to have him here as a second pick. But going into the third pick, which is conditional, I think is an Alisson Becker. Now, I have to say, having had this pick here, you have to be careful in the sense of wait to find out if he is going to be back for this game week 12, because he could probably return in game week 13 rather, which is honestly, even that for me is still fine. but I wouldn't go for Mamadashvili just because of knowing that Alisson Becker is going to be returning. And that's why for me he's in the number 3 spot here and not necessarily the number 2, because if he was back and we knew already that, hey, he is the one to go for, he for me would be number 2 and maybe even number 1, but definitely number 2, because he should be walking back into the starting lineup, and the defense should be a lot more solid as well going into such a great run of fixtures. So keep an ear out for him to hear whether or not he is going to be fit. Those press conferences are really going to be important to make our team decisions going into game week 12. Now let's take a look at the captaincies. The FPL Forces Game Week 12 captaincy, number 1 is obvious, Erling Haaland. And I say obvious in the sense that there is question for differential picks, but that ownership at over 70% is honestly going to kill you. So you have to think about this absolutely strategically. And so that brings me to my number 2 pick for me is Jean-Philippe Mateta there. He has got the form. I think he's also got the fixture, but the FPL Force favors a different pick as opposed to him. And one of the tools that we have here is being able to ask the FPL Force questions. And so if we go here, you'll see there are a number of questions that you actually can ask the FPL Force, and one of them is captaincy picks, and you can ask different ones like who should I captain this game week between this player and that player, and give me top 3 captaincy picks, and who is the differential captaincy so this game week. So if we ask the FPL Force there, we'll find that it will tell us Knight of the game week, the Force Whispers of Hidden Power, the differential blade is Rice. Oh wow, okay, so it's changed its mind. So this game week it said Rice, owned by 20% of managers. His form burns bright at 7.3, true. His fixture difficulty stands at 3, and stars project 8.3 points. Few will follow this path, but those who do may strike decisive blow. Oh wow, okay, all right, a different one there, a different one. Either way, for me, whether it was Rice or it's Saka, I definitely wouldn't be going there. I think it's going to be a tough game there for them, and I think Mbeumo for me at number 3 here is a much more better pick than even Rice or Saka, considering he's going to be at home against the Everton team, which again I don't necessarily think is going to be easy, but I think it's better than a Tottenham game. I think that they can definitely do something there, and Mbeumo's form as well has really been in top tier shape, in all honesty. Yeah, so I just feel like when it comes to captaincy, I am going to be sticking with Haaland. But I think if you want to go differential, I would be either going with a Mateta based on the fixture and some of his form. We know he can definitely return, and Mbeumo as well in the midfield. And I think it's always safer to go with a midfield pick either way as well, because when you do have a midfield pick, your routes to points is even higher, in the sense that like you get 1 point more for a goal as opposed to a striker getting that as well. The one thing with Mbeumo is just that he's not necessarily all that great for bonus, considering Bruno's there in his team. So Bruno was more likely to get his bonus, even when I think Mbeumo had 2 assists, and I think Bruno still grabbed the bonus. So that's the one thing there. But I think if you're going to go against Haaland, you have to also be confident that your pick can get you 2 returns, because Haaland, even with the 1 return, gets those bonus, and he's just in absolute impeccable form, bro. Like, it's so hard, and honestly I think you're brave going against him now, knowing the form that he's in. I think in the beginning of the season I was going up against him thinking of the old Haaland we saw last season, and so if I knew he was going to be like this again, the old type of Haaland, I wouldn't have gone against him, and that's exactly why for me I'm using the FPL Force. The Force for me tells me just stick with Haaland. That's for me what the Force says. So yeah. But yeah, guys, that is it from me. I would love to know what you guys think of the picks from the FPL Force. Who would you have rather be putting in? Let me know if you have any questions for the FPL Force or me as well. Drop them in the comment section. Would love to actually help you guys out in there as well. But nonetheless, I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be the team selection video coming up tomorrow. Otherwise, keep well. Peace.